So being able to look from an outside perspective, keep myself on that outside perspective, and
Mm-hmm.
then help work through those issues and create strategies. I think
Yeah.
that was really beneficial. Seeing so many different ways of doing things in business, I
Yeah.
think that was also another big differentiator in helping me with my own style.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Franchise. I'm your host, Paul Ehlinger, and I'm super excited. Today, we've got an awesome guest, Sally Facinelli, here. Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, I'm excited. I know you just got back from an awesome trip in Ireland, so thank you for joining us here after all the jet lag and everything. Maybe for everybody else, if you don't mind, give us the quick rundown of the career. Who the heck are you, and how'd you get where you are today?
Oh gosh, well, I'll try to make that quick as possible. I have been in franchising. This is going to be my 29th year,
Very
which
cool.
every time I say the number, I'm like, what? I
What
can't
has
be this.
happened? Yeah.
How has this happened? Although, I mean, it's flown by because I absolutely love franchising the franchise
Yeah.
family. It's such a wonderful, just so many wonderful things in my life, right? And
Mm-hmm,
friendship
mm-hmm.
and things like that. But my career started where most people have fallen into franchising at least once.
Yep.
I had to do it twice. So I started way, way, way back in the .com era for a company that was not a franchise in the US, but they sent me internationally
Mm-hmm.
to open their master locations in England, France, and Germany.
Oh,
I
cool.
was very young,
Yeah.
and I had a blast. I got bit by the bug, but when I came back, they didn't have a role for me.
Mm.
So I actually found a company called Aussie Pet Mobile, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
a merging brand at the time.
Yeah.
They had 13 locations, and I was with them for 4 years. And by the time I left, we had sold 500 locations in 5 countries, and I could not leave franchising after that.
Yeah.
I've been, they tried to recruit me a couple times out of franchising, or various people, but I can't leave it. I love it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And then after that, I've been on the supplier side. I've owned my
Mm-hmm.
own marketing agency with my ex-husband. Had my own advisory agency for well, technically I still have it. So
Yeah.
we're working on 14 years now.
That's
And
awesome.
then most recently, the CEO of Salty Dog Pet Salon and Bakery.
Very cool. Very cool. Maybe, yeah, tell us a little bit more about that because I think I feel that way about tech, which is like when you've had like this awesome experience, you get to experience rapid growth and like the energy and the chaos that comes with it. It's really addicting.
Oh,
And how was that, that Aussie Pet Mobile experience? How did that just shape who you are today and kind of what brought you into this?
it wasn't just Aussie Pet Mobile because
Mm,
within Aussie Pet Mobile, my role there, up until recently, I was never
mm,
more happy in a role.
yeah.
I absolutely loved what I did. I loved helping people achieve their dreams,
Hmm.
business ownership, people that may not have been able to do it on their own or would
Yeah.
not have been able to. And that really fed my soul because I love
Yeah.
helping people. And
Yeah.
then franchising as a whole, though, and then I know all the people in franchising get this, but the people outside don't get it. It is so much like a family. It is
Yeah.
not like anything else. And the fact that we all share our secret sauces with each other and all are there, whether it's a competitor or whatever, they're not really
Yeah.
competitors or co-conspirators. They're
Yeah.
always there to help. And I just, I just could not leave that family.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being somewhere else.
Yeah, it's been as somebody who's relatively new to franchising, as I've only kind of been in the space for a couple of years now. I would say it starts off intimidating because you kind of recognize it from the outside. Like everybody's known each other for decades, they've all
Yeah.
done dozens of things together. But then once you start getting involved, and once you give before you get type of thing, it is fascinating how quickly it's just you get kind of held in, right? You get to become a part of the hug, kind of.
Well, one of the interesting things is, and nobody outside the world gets this, is there is nobody that can understand you, and and if you haven't seen this already, you certainly will.
Yeah,
In the outside world, like your friends at home, even if you've known them your whole life, they won't understand you in the same way or be
yeah,
able to, most of them, as your franchise friends, because there's this different level of if you're an entrepreneur, you're
hmm,
building a business, you're out there, like you're making things happen, you're shaking stuff up. I don't know if I can
yeah.
swear.
Yeah,
So
no, you can. Please, you're
you're
making
shaking
shit
stuff up.
happen. Shit
Yeah,
is happening.
yeah. But that they just don't have that
Yeah,
experience. They don't understand, why do you work insane hours? Why do you
yeah,
travel tons and like you're sleep deprived, but you're still so happy and you love it and all those
yeah,
things. And being able to talk to them and just I could talk to anybody in franchising in 3 seconds and have
yeah,
a actual conversation where I get real advice. that
Yep.
I could action. At
Yeah.
home, I have to explain for like 5 hours.
Right. So
My
here's
God.
the context to all of this stuff that's not going to make
Yes,
any sense to you. Yeah. No,
exactly.
I totally agree, and I think it is entrepreneurship is the thing that I think rides through all of it, right? Because the franchisees are entrepreneurs, everybody at the national team is building the company, like, and those are just different people. We're wired differently, where it's like
Yes.
we love the journey. We know we're going to fail a lot. We know we're going to win a lot, and it's like you can't let the highs or lows kind of get to you too much. And I think it's a different way than being, of like being middle management in a 5,000 person company. You're not living the same way.
You're not. I actually did a podcast a few months back that we talked about failure. My belief is if you're not failing, you're not growing.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
impossible. You have to
Yeah,
fail to grow. And all of us have that strength to be able to face those failures and get up again and grow
yeah.
and keep going. I mean, I'm sure everybody I know has had pretty large failures,
Oh yeah.
especially people that have done really big things. You
Yeah.
talk about their story. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was penniless. I had $1 in the bank and I still
Yep.
made this happen. All that stuff.
Yeah, this has been we didn't plan this conversation beforehand. This is like a really big journey for me over the past decade. I feel like I used to be very results driven. Like I defined myself by the achievements and accomplishments I had, and I think I realized over time it's like that's not what drives that value. That's not what drives like that sense of fulfillment. And it's like it's the values of like curiosity, persistence, like growth. Like those are the things I care about. And if I strive for those, the achievements will come. But it's been like a weird mental differentiation for me.
I bet. That's awesome journey.
Yeah, it's been fun. Would love to understand a bit. So you had the advisory role. You've worked with tons of different companies through that, and now you kind of take over into a brand leadership position, right? What do you think how much did that help you being able to touch and feel so many different brands before taking over a brand and kind of being the person on top?
Yeah. Well, I've been the person on top at other roles, but not this particular type of business. So I think being able to experience many types of leaders. Okay, so
Mm,
there is the work
yeah,
that I know how to do many things, right? Whatever, marketing, whatever.
sure.
But then there's being a leader, and therein lies the difference. What
Yeah.
is a leader? What does that mean? Seeing a lot of different types of leadership styles, what I feel works and what doesn't work, how I
Hmm.
want to be as a leader, that really changed things. Also, working with different brands and just helping them through, as an advisor, you're really helping them through problems.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
helping them grow, you're strategizing, but what is it? What is it? They want to grow their business. Okay, well, that's a strategy. We got to work through those things. So being able to look from an outside perspective, keep myself on that outside perspective, and
Hmm.
then help work through those issues and create strategies. I think that
Yeah.
was really beneficial. Seeing so many different ways of doing things in business, I
Yeah.
think that was also another big differentiator in helping me with my own style, and
Yeah.
how to do things. I can see 10 years down the road right now
Yeah.
easily. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool. I think every business is so unique, but they all have common threads, right? Like it's like they find a way to build a growth system, and the tactics that you're using for that are all different, but the approach is generally similar, right? Like, did you experience a lot of that where it's like, hey, there obviously every business is very unique, but everyone has these threads of commonality that you're able to pull out, and now in your seat today, kind of leverage that to see that decade in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I really feel like, especially if you're looking at franchises, it doesn't matter if it's restaurants or dog grooming or whatever, you
Yeah,
still have very common threads. I mean, one of the biggest ones is like a duh, but most people outside franchising don't get it. It's like, okay, you have two businesses now. You've got your consumer
correct.
business,
Yeah,
and you got your franchise business,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
there are common threads and hurdles and things that that are easy to work through. That you
yeah.
just got to learn the intricacies or the differentiators of the business itself that you're working with.
Yeah, we work with a lot of emerging brands, and I think that is something we see all the time. Where it's like they'll be on like their 10th location. They're like, I did not realize this was a second full time job. Like this is a fully different thing. How do you think about balancing that? Like in your role, like do you purposely block time differently to be like, hey, I'm working on this side versus this side? Does it come naturally? What does that feel like for you?
Well, in my most recent role, I was lucky that I got to focus after the first year. I
Mm,
got to focus solely, so yay.
yeah,
But the way I do anything in life, including that, was my calendar.
Yeah.
It controls me, okay? And
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I have blocks. I'm very good at compartmentalization, and I talk about this a lot because it's for my family too. I have kids and
Yeah.
single parent with 3 kids. So if I didn't block it for my business and my
Yeah.
family, I think I would go
You're gonna drop the ball on somebody,
I
right?
totally drop the ball. It's
Yeah.
easy to do. So yeah, compartmentalization, blocking time, and also switching my brain back and forth between things. I don't know if other people have this issue or if it's talked about, but like if I'm in this, let's say I'm in my marketing mode,
Sure.
being marketing and creative
Yep.
and being like focused on legal and financial, that's two different like
Yeah.
wavelengths there. So I
Yeah.
have to switch back and forth. I can't just do that. I have to block that time.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I can always tell if I've like mismanaged my schedule because at the end of the day I'll be exhausted from like code switching between all those different roles, right? Because to your
Yes.
point, like for me it's like talking with our dev team and just getting deep in code and then going and talking to like the go to market team and being like what private dinner are we going to host at the next conference? It's just such different trains of thought that it's exhausting.
It really, really is. Yeah. Not many
No, I
people can actually switch back and forth at all from what I've
mhm.
seen. Plus, try to do it consistently all the time. That's why
Yeah.
you have to like, let's do this on a more scheduled basis.
Yeah, and well, I find too, it's like you naturally lean into the things you're good at, and so if you don't schedule it, you'll like naturally let the time slip on the stuff you're less good at or less like want to confront at the time. And so for me, it's just like I just try to eat the frog in the beginning of the day, do the thing I least like, or it's going to be the hardest, and then the rest of the day kind of feels like a breeze, you know?
I love that. Eat the frog. I'm gonna have to use that verbiage.
Yeah,
Eat the
please,
frog at the
please.
end of the day.
um, so we were chatting a little bit beforehand. You know, you had a great vacation, and you were saying it was really great, really introspective, really soul fulfilling. And you kind of realized you're in a different stage of your career now, and you're thinking about the second half. Um, maybe talk us through that. Like, what did the first stage feel like? Like, what advice do you have for me as somebody in the first, stage of their career? What would you wish you have known at that first stage? And then I'd love to get into like, what's the second half going to hold for you?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of questions there. You're gonna have to refresh my memory if I miss one.
Yeah.
So the advice I'd give if I could go back in time and give myself, I wish I had taken more chances and said
Mm,
yes more because every time I have not said yes, I've
yeah.
regretted it. Every
Mm,
time. Like I haven't
yeah.
taken that small risk or whatever. If I could just lean into trusting that it's all going to work out because it's all worked out.
You're
um,
still here. Yeah, you're still
I'm
here. You're
still
still
here.
doing the thing.
Some way. I've made it through, and believe me, I have been through a lot of fires, a lot
Mm,
of both personally and professionally, and I've made it through. It's made me the strong person that I am now. If
yeah.
I had known that then, I would tell anybody just take those chances. Don't delay. Don't say,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'll do that when." I did a lot of that.
Yeah.
This trip for me was the first time I have taken and shut down almost completely. I could not do it completely because we had some little legal snafus that we were working
Sure.
through, but almost completely where my phone was
That's
on
so
silent.
awesome.
Yeah. And it was great because I went with my girlfriends, Anna Phillips,
Mm.
Andrea Monday, and then Allison Zorich, all from the franchise
Yeah, I
industry.
was gonna say, shout out franchise family.
Yeah, shout out. They have been in franchising for a while, all on their own businesses.
Mm,
We've been really close for like, I don't know, 13 or 15 years.
yeah.
And we planned this trip because one of our friends is got some terminal health problems.
Mm,
So I'm not going to say which one and all
yeah.
that, but if you know, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we really wanted to have these memories. And all of us, they all turned 50, and I
Mm,
am about to in one more year. So we were looking at our lives on our trip going, and especially me
yeah.
going, and we all have this like major turning point in our life. And I'm going, what do I want in the second half of my career?
Yeah.
And what am I not willing to put up with anymore?
Sure.
Just a lot.
Equally as important. Very equally as
Yes,
important. Yeah.
yes. What am I not willing to do anymore? And what fulfills me? What lights my fire? And what do I want to leave behind? Not that I'm looking like I'm going to die anytime soon, which I'm
Sure.
not.
Yeah.
But like, what do I want my legacy to be? Yes, people
Hmm.
know me. I give back a lot. A lot of that. That's fantastic, but that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not the end. That's not the
Yeah.
end goal.
That's interesting. What as you kind of talked about, hey, say yes more. What do you think was holding you back from saying yes more? Was it lack of confidence in yourself? Was it like fear of the uncertainty? Like, what were those things that were maybe preventing those yeses throughout your early career?
Well, I think mostly it was fear of uncertainty. And the reason for
Sure.
that, especially, is because I've been a single parent for so long. I mean, I kid so many years. It's what
Yeah.
most of my kids' lives.
Yeah.
So I was always putting them first and having to do. I had to do things because I didn't have a fallback position.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
could look back now, I would have made different choices, knowing that I would have made it through.
Sure.
Knowing
Hmm.
that I am strong enough, I do know enough, I
Yeah.
can make things happen. So it
Yeah.
was maybe a little combination of both, actually.
Yeah, I think I just don't even know if you can know everything you need to feel 100% confident in it. That's what I'm kind of realizing these days is like as much as you can try and stay up all night and fret about it, like you just kind of have to go. And it like will probably work out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. I think it's one of those things where, yeah, I guess you don't know how strong you are until you have to face it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great
And
way to yeah.
one of the other things I've noticed too is the faster you face whatever the hurdle is in your life, whether it's
Mhm.
professionally or personal, the faster you do that and you walk through like the fire, like
Yeah.
the moment the pain goes away, like
Yeah.
you face it, it's gone. It's that anticipation of the decision or the whatever that
Yeah.
takes it's the
It
hardest
is
journey.
like it's like the you like put yourself through agony for no reason. Like the longer you wait, the more agony you experience. But my gosh, does it just feel like human nature to not want to do the thing, you know?
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
yeah, that's super interesting. And you know, when you kind of mentioned like legacy and impact, and I think I try to think about that, but I think it gets really hard in the day to day, right? When you're encapsulated by the thousand fires you're dealing with, you know. And I do the same thing. I try to give back. I help other founders do the thing. Like, how do you start making that a more like a cemented goal, right? Like something you do want to focus on. Like, and obviously, I think you're just really starting to consider this. So like, what's your journey been there so far? Like to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to be perceived as in the future.
Well, so the last part of that, this is who I am and all that. I started a few years back. I don't even know when, but a few years ago, I just started going, you know what? Fuck it. This
Yeah.
is people will accept me or they won't, and what they think of me is none of my business. I do not care anymore. Getting to that place of you truly don't care anymore is so
I
freeing.
bet it's like Zen releasing. Yeah, you're
It's
just
so
like
freeing. I wish I was like that when I was 20 years old. That would have been amazing.
you'd be too powerful though. You
I
know, it'd
would
have been
be.
wasted on youth.
Right, right. No, but I mean, truly going, okay, if you just own who you are, and I
Yeah,
know who I am now, like I am very clear on that. And I
yeah.
like who I am. I worked hard to be
Hell
this.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's do this. So I worked really hard and now I own it. I'm just unapologetically myself and I think
Yeah,
and very authentic. And I think that's
yeah,
one thing that most people know about me.
yep.
So the sooner you do that, um, and are really authentic about it, people
Mm,
are going to accept you. You
yeah,
know, there are
yeah.
going to be the naysayers out there, but oh well, there's always going to be those people. You can be perfect. There's still going to be those
Yeah.
people.
If anything, it just means you're meaningful enough to have naysayers, right?
Exactly. That was actually hard for me when I started getting my first ones. I was like, what the heck? Why are you being
Yeah,
a crab apple?
yeah. Well, it's because I think I feel that because you feel like a certain bit of like maybe they're right, maybe they do have a point, and then at the end of the day, you realize like they've got some random BS reason to feel that way. And it has literally nothing to do with you.
It literally is not. And I have also learned that the way that people treat you, unless you're being
Don't be a
crazy,
bad person. Yeah, don't be a bad
right? Not
person.
being a bad person,
Yeah,
being a normal person. The way people treat you is a reflection on them, not on you.
yeah, yeah,
Period.
yeah.
So, I think you asked another question. Did I answer it?
No, I think so, and I think building off of it, like I love the ideology of like becoming your authentic self and doing that. How has that shaped you as a leader, right? Because I think it's something I think about a lot because I feel like I put a lot of internal pressure on myself, right? Like I want to be this person, I want to be this successful at the things I'm trying to do. And to your point, the more I realize, like the more I'm myself, the more better I am, the more successful I am, like all that stuff.
Mhm.
How has that shaped how you lead?
Yeah, that is an really interesting question because I've had a lot of people give me a lot of advice, which I am forever grateful for.
Hmm.
And I've had people I look up to say, "Hey, people are watching you. You need to be perfect, happy at all times.
Yeah,
Always, never letting your hair down. All the stuff I've had every which way kind of advice.
yeah,
What I have decided to do was obviously be myself,
sure,
and
yeah,
I find that if I'm not going to sit there and be a rainy cloud, okay,
right,
with my people, whoever they are, whether they're franchisees, employees, whatever, clients. I'm
Yep.
never going to be that rainy cloud. But I think if you are authentic and
Hmm.
are experience, you're having an experience, and if people see you doing having whatever that experience is, maybe you're having a hard day, but
Yeah.
they see you fighting through that.
Hmm.
Okay, you may not be this perfect, like I'm fake, like
Yeah.
it's all great, and it's
Yeah.
not, but you're still fighting and working through that. I think people appreciate that. Then they
Yeah.
go, you know what, I can do that too. And that's what I want to
Yeah.
help people. Always want to say, okay, maybe I can be that shining light where they can look and see all the things I've been through in my life and go,
Hmm.
wow, she was able to do it. I can do that. I can do this.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah, yeah. You become like a lot more approachable. Like
More
it's
approachable.
in a good way. Like in the sense of like if people look up to you, they're not fearful of you. They don't want anything different out of you. It's like, oh, they're just a real person, and I'm also a real person. Like I can have what they have. I can be like they are.
Yes. And I want to mentor people to be, at the best that they can possibly be, or whatever it is that they want.
Yeah,
And then also, I want people to come to me, like, call me up, tell me what
yeah,
is really going on. Like,
yeah.
give me, am I for some reason making you feel a certain kind of way
Hmm.
that is impeding your growth, or,
Yeah,
as an employee or whatever? I would like to know that. I have this
yeah.
open door policy, and I ask because I'm not seeing myself.
Sure.
So I want to keep myself in line. And how do I do that? By getting insights from people I trust.
Yeah,
Authentic.
yeah. I've always thought about it like a thermostat, right? Like you as the leader kind of set the temperature, and it might be 72, it might be 69, but like if you bring it to 40 or 105, everybody else is going to come up and be just
Oh,
around
yes.
that temperature, And it's like I think I've definitely felt those struggles early, right? Like if something's struggling or like we break something or something goes wrong, it's really easy to like get down, but it's
Mhm.
like you immediately realize, shit, if I do that, everybody else is going to do that,
Yes.
So that is an interesting point, I would say. Um, that's really cool. When you think about managing people and kind of doing so authentically, I think a lot of that's like personality matching and finding a way to give yourself to them in the way that they need to receive it a little bit sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
For that.
how do you do that? Like, what's your strategy? Is it really just trying to be true and authentic and open and being like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. Tell it to me from your side. Like, how do you do that in action?
So there is it's part of that, and then just part of me, who I am as a person. I'm able to read people,
Mm,
and understand how they communicate. Right? I know how I
yeah,
communicate, but
sure.
like duh.
Do it
So
every day.
every day. But it's how do they communicate? So first and foremost, being myself authentically and open and all that stuff allows them to then step in that role. If
Yeah,
I can't be, they are never going to be. But
yeah,
then additionally, also I pay attention as a
yeah.
leader. I'm paying attention constantly. People don't think I do, but they
Mm.
know when they get to know me and they're around me, they're like, wow, actually you do. So I pay attention constantly to, how they are, what's their change, how do they communicate. It's the same thing like sales. I think it came from being in I used to do a lot of enterprise sales,
Yeah,
and understanding how somebody buys is the same thing as understanding how an employee, you can work with them.
yeah,
Um what is their, it's not their buying signal, there's something I'm looking for, a word. But basically, how just it's a communication thing. Like, how are they receiving my information? I
yeah.
want, at the end of the day, what do I want? I want to either sell something if I'm a salesperson, if it's employee, I want them to receive what
Right.
I'm saying. And if
Yeah,
I'm not saying it in a way that they can receive, just like
yeah,
marketing and customer experience and all that stuff, um, then it's a moot point.
yeah,
So I'm not
yeah,
communicating the way they can receive. So I just pay attention. I guess that's the way it goes. I pay attention to how are they receiving it.
yeah.
And if I
And
find that they're not getting it and they're having a hard time understanding it, I ask. I'm like, what
yeah,
do
we
you
got to find a new way. How do you need me to say this, right?
yeah, what do you hear me saying? This is what I'm saying. What does this mean to you? And then sometimes you're aligned and sometimes you are not.
Yeah, you're like, oh wow, this is misread. That's my bad. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's start again. Let's try this again.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think it's something. Actually, so I was down at FCXC the last few days, and one of the conversations I was having at a table was like training franchisees to do sales, right? And I think sales is not like a natural thing for a lot
No.
of people, right? It's uncomfortable. They feel like they're pushing people, all that stuff. And one of the big things that came out of it was just like training objection responses. Like, you will get objected every
Yes.
single time. Like, the consumer is going to do their job. They should try to object. They should try to lower cost. They should try to find more value. And it's not a bad thing. It's just learning how to communicate what they need. So I think that lesson you're talking about goes all the way through a franchise system, and everybody like building that skill set helps every unit grow, every franchise grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very cool. Super interesting. I think would love to like lean into just a little bit kind of on your thoughts on franchising as a whole to kind of close out the episode a little bit. You know, you said you've been in it for a few decades now. You're going to be in it for a few more decades. I don't mean anything by that. I don't want to. You've been in it for a couple of years. How has it changed, and where do you think it's going?
Wow. Okay. So one of the things I can say that the biggest thing I can see as a change is in the female leadership area. It's
Yeah.
still not a big change. It's not big enough, I should say.
Yeah.
When I started a long time ago, when the dinosaurs were around,
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
I like that better. I mean, seriously, when there was so few women,
Yeah.
very few women, especially in leadership roles. And I was also in tech. So right after Aussie Pet
Oh,
Mobile,
okay. So yeah.
tech, there was no women.
Yep.
So that was interesting. Not that I don't love men. I love them. I have a love, for, for the old guard and franchising and the good old boys club. They took me under their wing, and that was amazing.
Lot to learn from them.
Lot to learn, but having a female mentor would have been nice. So I think that area has changed a great deal in the last 10 years or ish.
Yep.
There has been a lot more females in the leadership roles, and that's been great. Franchising in itself seems to be it used to be much more behind the times when it came to technology, like radically, like way behind. So we've caught up a bit. I think we're still catching up.
Lot of room, I would say.
Oh yeah, so I think that's changing a bit, and where it's going in the future. There's more regulation now than there was, which I do think is good, because there were shady characters. There's always shady characters in every
People are
business.
going to exploit things when they can, right? It's just a natural human phenomena.
Yeah, so I actually don't have a problem with those more stricter areas that I have to align with. Sometimes it's ridiculous, but
sure.
I think overall the goal is to protect everybody, and I like to do that myself. So I do think that it's still a franchise family. People are getting closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm curious your thoughts, like on the female franchise leadership aspect. I think a part of that's like the natural transition as a nation over the last 6 decades, right? Like, it's just become way more accessible for women to be leaders and all that stuff. I think something that what I look at it and see is like, as they've become leaders, there's been several that have killed it, and they absolutely dominate at it, right? And it's because they're selling into female-based consumers, or they have an angle or perspective that being female really makes a more positive impact. How much do you think it was really some of that, where it's just like you've got some of these women just building absolutely monster brands, and all of a sudden it's like it kind of forces the old guard to look in the mirror and be like, hey, there's other opportunity here?
Yeah, I definitely think it's taken the what is the word for the forerunners? That's not the word I'm looking for, but the people that are the first to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever that word is. I think that has taken it to shake it up.
Yeah.
Truly, because it's just a generational thing. I truly think that's part of it. Generations are different, in the way they see people, and the way they see women, and the way they see whatever. I've noticed that being a big difference. Like, the younger generations are more open and normal. Like, it's normal to have a powerhouse, badass woman.
Why would it not be?
Yeah, it's crazy. So one of the things I've noticed is, like, if you are pushing boundaries, if you're pushing back, if I don't let people talk to me in a certain kind of way, it's rude. I will push back. I will hold my own. I used to be thought of as a bitch, or, oh, she's aggressive. I'm not aggressive.
You're
I'm
like,
actually.
You're like, I'm doing the exact same thing a guy would do in this scenario. I'm just like standing up for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more normal now with the younger guard coming in. So I do like that, but I think that the women that paved the way, that pushed through all of those glass ceilings, built those badass companies, and did it on their own. They did have some great support but whether it was men and women, doesn't matter. I think that those women are the pioneers. That's the word I was looking for.
There we go. Yeah. And maybe bridging this to the future, and you kind of brought this up a little bit, but like Gen Z is going to start becoming leaders in franchising, right? And I think it's this weird dichotomy that could happen, because I do think franchising is a little behind in cutting edge technology. Like they're not rolling out technology first, right?
No, literally.
And they're, yeah, they're a little slower to respond, but I think as Gen Z gets in, they are web digital native, they're social media native. It's all they've ever known. And so I do think there's a pretty large cultural shift that'll probably happen in franchising in the next 10, 15 years, as like there are going to be these emerging brands led by a 24-year-old lady who just builds in a different way. And I think it'll be really interesting to see what comes of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's already starting to happen. Maybe not with females yet, but I've already
Mm,
seen a lot younger founders just
yeah.
kicking butt. And
Yeah.
they're doing it, like you said, in a very different way. And I love
Yeah.
watching that. And they had their mindset. So it's not just technology that is different. It's also their mindset and how they approach, whether it's leadership, they
Hmm.
have a different leadership style,
Yeah.
a little work ethic. They're more focused on even themselves, like taking self-care, which
Yeah.
I can say I was bad at self-care, and that is
Yeah.
the next half of my career. I'm like, I am
There you go.
bad at that. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a more healthy way. So,
Mental health is like a thing now, right? Like people think about and talk about. It's crazy.
yep.
Awesome. We always like to end episodes with a little series of quick hitter questions. Rorschach type test. Tell us what first comes to mind if that works for you.
Okay, let's do it.
What has been, the best piece of career advice you've ever gotten?
Long time ago, somebody told me I was very nervous because I was female in a man's
Yeah.
world, blonde. I was attractive,
Mm,
and I just played down my looks and played down everything. So I didn't go out at night. I didn't like interact and party and do
sure.
all the social events.
Yeah.
And one day, this gentleman came to me. He's like, "Sally, you need to let your hair down a little. You
Be
need to
you.
go let people see who you are. It's
Yeah.
okay. You're
Yeah.
smart. People will see past that."
Yeah.
And so I did, and I went out, and that's when my career really shifted, was when I started to go out and network. I did all the
Mm,
day stuff. I was up at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 and doing the prayer breakfast and all the stuff. So I started going out at night, and that's where my relationship started. I just started being myself and
yeah.
authentic. And I don't mean the partying part. It was the going out and being like,
Yeah. I mean, having
yeah,
conversation about your interests,
yeah,
right? And like just who
I
you
opened
really are.
exactly. That was a very big differentiator. And I think a lot of people coming into franchising don't realize that if you don't do that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be sad news for you. That's like,
We've
that is where it happens.
we've started realizing that the past year, and I would say it makes a very big difference once you start doing those things. Um,
Exactly.
you lead a pet care brand, so what's your favorite dog breed?
Ooh. Oh, do I have to pick one?
Uh, Preferably.
I like Rottweilers.
Okay,
I
okay.
absolutely love them. They're like these strong, gentle giants. I mean, they could not be gentle too, which
Sure.
is they can protect you. So I love Rottweilers,
I love that.
and I love so many dogs.
Yeah, yeah. What is something people don't know about you?
So many people don't know about me. There's probably a few things. um, I am a free spirit and a
Mhm.
little bit of a wild child. That means I love to just explore. So travel and explore. When I was
Yeah.
pregnant with my son, I went snorkeling with sharks, although they ran away from me. I was very
What?
disappointed. They like swam away. I was like, "Hey, I wanted a
Hey, what the
picture."
heck? Yeah.
I was very, very pregnant. I was like 7.5 months pregnant. So maybe they heard
That's
his heart.
wild.
So I'm definitely a little bit more of a free spirit, and I like to explore and
Yeah.
have fun.
I I love that. And a last one. What's a marketing trend that you think is overrated, overhyped, or needs to go away?
Mm, marketing trend that's overhyped. Can you tell I didn't know about these questions in advance?
Yeah, no, you're good. We curveballed this episode a little bit, everybody. We were going to talk one topic, and now we went down a different topic.
Yeah, we did. So what is it need to go away? Gosh.
Or people need to do more of. Just looking for a hot take on your opinions on franchise marketing.
I think people need to do more natural, which
Mhm.
this has been more of a trend, more natural marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. What needs to go away is I'm throwing up on you
Mm.
and you are hearing what I have to say. That doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
being more natural, doing what the customer can actually hear. So if I have a dog grooming business, I don't want to just talk about my business all the time. I need
Sure.
to be interactive of what they can hear. Like, here's all about your doggies. Like, let's showcase your dogs, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
I think more of like, I'm telling you my information that needs to go away, and
Mhm.
less of that, and more of being authentic and like just getting in there
Build the
with them.
emotional connection. Just be along
Yes,
for the journey. Yeah, that makes
that's
a
a
ton
good
of
way to say
sense.
that. Thank you.
I'm here for you. And to close out the show, we always like to, like a late night show, give you a minute, talk about what you want to talk about, tell people where to find you online, or what you're excited about coming up here.
Well, where to find me is pretty simple. So LinkedIn is just Sally Facinelli. My email is easy, sally@sallyfacinelli.com. It's all Sally Facinelli.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say super easy.
whatever. It's really simple. I keep it consistent. Okay. And what do I want to talk about here? Well, I think the future is what's on my top of mind coming back from this Ireland trip. And,
Hmm.
you're going to see big changes in the future, big things
Yeah,
coming, whether it's, in the next few weeks or the next few years. My
sure.
goal is to be changing people on a mass level,
Yeah,
helping support them, but on a global level. I'll
yeah.
leave it there.
No, I love that. Well, Sally, this has been super fun. I really appreciate it. I think we went like an emotional level deeper than we typically do on the show. So I appreciate you like willing to do that, because I think I'm on my own personal journey as a founder. You're obviously still on your journey, and thinking about making turns, and how your career continues, and all that good stuff. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, super impactful for me. I'm guarantee everybody else listening felt the same way.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you.
Absolutely. And everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of Behind the Franchise. Sally, again, thank you for being on, and we hope you all listen to the next one as well. Talk to you later.